Hey guys, I just got back from doing 3 rallies in 4 weeks. We had Bike Fest, then we had Frogs and Hogs, which was more of a festival than a rally. And then we went to the Stubborn American Rally in Moyers, Oklahoma, and now Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. And I literally just got home a few hours ago. But in the last couple of weeks, I've had several people ask me about some of the videos they've seen related to the EVO powered Sportster being canceled. And they want to know if that's true and what I think about it and what I think Harley's going to do in 2023. So let's get into it. If you guys haven't seen it, Throttle Blip came out with the video saying that the EVO powered Sportster was canceled. Then Sprite's Corner came out with a video about the same topic and said that he could not find anything from a reputable source like motorcycle.com or Harley Davidson themselves to say that it was canceled, but he believed it was probably true that it would be canceled. So here's what I've been able to find out and what I think some of the things that might happen in 2023 are. First, I think Throttle Blip is right and wrong. I don't think Harley Davidson has canceled the EVO powered Sportster officially. So here's what I've been able to find out. I talked to a couple dealers, and if they've been told something else, it's not something they're supposed to share or tell anybody. What they can officially say is that they were told by Harley Davidson that they would not be receiving any more model year 2022 EVO powered Sportster. Now that doesn't mean that there won't be a 2023 EVO powered Sportster, but the chances are it probably won't happen. The Sportster was released in 1957. Model year 2022 puts the Sportster at 65 years old. Now, maybe it's a coincidence, but that sounds pretty close to a retirement age to me. The used market is going to be full of these EVO powered Sportsters for years to come. So if that's what you want and what you're into, don't worry. You're just going to be able to get it at a bargain price off the used market rather than paying the inflated MSRP and surcharges and all the things that are going on right now, if this turns out to be true. Now, another indication that this is probably true is if we go back to model year 2019, there were 7 Sportsters and 3 street models for a total of 10. Right now, we're currently down to 4, 2 EVO powered Sportsters and 2 Revolution Max powered Sportsters. Another thing I've been tracking, if you go back to 2019, the 883 Sportster sold for $9,000. Do you know what that 883 sells for in 2022? Over $11,000. Almost a 25% increase in price. Now, none of the other models have nearly that drastic of a price increase. All right, guys, so here's my take on why the price increase on the 883. If you look at it this way, and they set a value on what they wanted for the Nightster, and they came up with $13,000. $13,500, I think, is actually the MSRP on it. Well, if they were still selling the EVO for $9,000 or $9,500 after a couple years of standard price increases, that's like a $3,000, $4,000 price difference. Now, that's going to make it hard to convince someone to jump from the 883 to the Nightster if they're on a really tight budget. But if you run that price on the 883 up to $11,250 like it is currently, now you're looking at just a little over $2,000 difference in the price between the 883 and the Nightster. And then when you charge them $800 for ABS, which is built into the Nightster, you brought that price difference down to about $1,500. And that makes it a lot easier to sell the Nightster or to justify the difference in why the Nightster's just a little bit more than the Sportster rather than it being $3,000 or $4,000 more. Now that's just my theory, but I think it makes sense. Before we move on, I want to talk about the Nightster for just a second and the EVO powered Sportster. I've ridden both in the last few years. I rode the Nightster just 3 weeks ago. And I know I'm going to get some hate over this from the diehard EVO guys, and they want their old Sportster back and all that stuff. But the Nightster was a shit ton of fun to ride. I mean, you hit 8,000 RPM in second gear and you grab third and that thing wants to go. It was a lot of fun. It's got like a 9,000 RPM redline. I really enjoyed riding a bike that is less than 500 pounds with 90 horsepower and 70 foot-pounds of torque. It was just very nimble, very fun to ride. And I think that's what the Sportster is supposed to be. So yeah, you've got the classic EVO Sportster, and now we've got a modern Sportster. All right, so let's move on to what do I think we might see in 2023. Well, I am sure we're going to see at least one new model, but I think there's a chance we'll see two. I did a video a while back where I found reference to the RA 975 on a parts sheet. That would be for a Pan American 975. I do believe that bike is coming. I think next year would be a great time to release it with the 120th anniversary stuff going on. I also think the Bronx 975 makes sense. And there was some story recently about how they renewed the trademark name and stuff, so it may not be dead. I think 120th anniversary year would be a really cool year to come out and launch the Bronx and to make it an anniversary edition on the debut. That would be a good way to get a lot of attention on that motorcycle. And I think at the hometown rally in July is the perfect time to release these new models. Can you imagine all these thousands of bikers come to the hometown rally for the 120th anniversary and bang, there's two new models on the new Revolution Max platform that are breakouts from the traditional cruisers, and this is your chance to try and get guys that are used to cruisers over on adventure bikes or street bikes and see what they think of it. Now, personally, I think that's a great move. That's what I would be doing. Let's see if Harley Davidson comes up with the same ideas. Another thought is it time to get rid of the 107? Will the 114 become the base engine for all of the cruisers? There's only a few bikes still running the 107, including the Softail Standard. And I think it would make sense to move it to a 114. The 107 has been out since 2017. Now, that makes sense for them to go ahead and move to the 114. If you go back and look at historically, since the EVO platform, the first EVO 80-inch went like 15 years. But since then, they've gone less than 10 years. 6, 7, sometimes 5 years for different platforms, like the Softail had the 103 for less years than the touring platform. But I think we're in that 5 to 7 year range, so I think that's a good possibility. And I think if all of the 120th anniversary editions came out with a 114, that makes sense to make these bikes a little more special anniversary editions. Now, some people think that maybe the touring bikes would go to a 117 and the CVO would get a step up. I don't know if I would do that if I was Harley Davidson. They just put the 117 out in the Street Glide ST, and that's the only way you can get a 117 in a Street Glide besides the CVO is to get the ST. If they turn around and make the Street Glide Special a 117, I don't know. I think then you're getting it, hard to differentiate the models. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's an interesting idea. Now, along with that idea, if you make the standard, the Softail Standard, a 114, what really is the difference between it and the Street Bob 114 then? Do you need to keep both? Or do you cut one of those models for next year? Which one would you cut? Would you cut the Street Bob and have that entry-level Softail Standard with the 114? Or would you cut the Softail Standard and the Street Bob would be the entry-level bike? All right, guys, I got to finish unpacking and getting things ready to go back to the real world tomorrow. So if you like this video, you know what to do. The thumbs up, the subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for your support. Stay safe and keep on riding. We'll see you in the next one.